Well, welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. I'm like, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a while, man. It's been like, what?
7 hours? We're doing good. Changed my shirt, people. Changed it. So, we're back. More booze.
You're wearing a shirt of what, though?
I don't... In hops we trust?
It's kind of good because this is releasing the day after the 4th of July, huh? In America, we trust.
I mean, obviously.
You got any 4th of July plans?
We do. Mentally, I'm not there yet. I'm focused on this week. There's something pretty important going on beforehand, so...
I don't think so, man, because when people are listening to it right now, that's already gone, done, happened, kaboosh, whatever.
Yeah, the house burned down, correct. The issue is, we're recording before, and my brain capacity is focused on that, so everything's fine. For those that don't know, my second wedding, 3 times postponed, is occurring, so all the final pieces are coming together. I had to draw up a sketch to send to the rental company because they're 7.5 hours away from me, and they're getting on ground to start erecting the tent for the reception at like 9:30 in the morning. And I'm backwards planning, like, if they're on ground at 9:30, then maybe I can leave at 3. So I'm trying to coordinate that in my head because I know they're going to have questions. So what I did was I basically mapped everything out for them, included cardinal directions, put everything in somewhat of a logistical, coordinated effort that made sense with everything, and then shot it to the coordinator over there who runs everything and runs the crews. And I said, this is our vision for the property. Do your thing. And I'm going to be there by 10 a.m.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to leave my house at like 3:30, 3:40 latest.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Yeah. And then just drive up there and just listen to bangers the whole way.
Hell yeah. Colleen's going to love it.
Well, she'll be a zombie and probably falling asleep in the passenger seat, but that's fine. And then when she wakes up, I'm going to force her to listen to our podcast. You know?
How far is she behind?
I have no clue. I haven't asked her.
She is pretty far behind. But anyway, everybody, thank you very much for joining me at the Buffalo Happy Hour. We feature small businesses every week, and then also every Monday. We kind of just talk really about whatever we want. Today's going to be an interesting episode because we literally just recorded 12 hours ago. No, 24 hours ago at this point. Yesterday, we recorded the weekly episode you saw last week, and we're pre-recording this one because you're going to be gone for 10 days.
Yeah.
So, I'm not 100% sure how much we'll have to talk about, but I'm sure it'll be fine, and we'll fulfill the hour just completely okay. So everybody, thank you very much for joining. If you're not here every week, consider subscribing because you're making me very nervous with that face. We would really appreciate you subscribing and joining our content every single week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We upload, and now we upload every Thursday. And also follow our Instagram and our Facebook at the Buffalo Happy Hour. We post there all the time, as well as our TikTok. So we're kind of everywhere.
In short, follow us because we don't know what's going on anymore.
Zero idea. So,
woo!
That's like is that your new thing now? Because every single time I'm editing, it scares the shit out of me every single time that you do that. So I'm like, I don't even know where this came from.
You should have seen me on the way here. I was listening to Irish pub songs, and I was So first of all, I was in the village, so the speed limit's like 30, and I'm mentally going 80. So I have cruise control set so I don't get pulled over for like rear-ending someone in front of me who's actually going the speed limit. And I'm cranking the music, and I'm like smacking my right knee, and I'm so fired up to leave work because it's over with. And I'm one day closer to vacation, and I'm just shaking while driving and trembling. And then there I go, listening to the music, and I just start screaming because I have to just let it out. I don't know what to do with it. There's too much energy inside of me.
Is this because vacation's coming up, or just because you're just like sick of the 9-to-5 grind?
I mean, if we could pod full time, you wouldn't handle me. You wouldn't know what to do. You would just tell me to go outside and go work out so I could get tired.
No, that's not 100% true because I feel like I'd be in the same, a lesser level, but in the same boat.
I feel like I'm a 2-year-old puppy.
Exhausted.
I'm a 2-year-old puppy, and I'm ready to go
with that on a daily basis.
all day long.
All right, so thank everybody for joining. We're done here.
So, all right. Here's the question of the day.
She's going to be sleeping on the drive. Let's focus back.
I was going to talk about, like, if you were okay with the death penalty. So anyways.
Well, I am. So
All right, next topic. Abortion.
Next question. They're necessary. Next question.
Eye for an eye. Yeah, so she'll be sleeping, and then hopefully she wakes up at about, like, I don't know, 7. I might drive into the rubble strips to wake her up.
We're fine. We'll just use the camera audio from here. They're actually pretty good, so we'll just overlay it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I would have been so mad. Thank God we have good cameras.
Correct. I don't really know how good they are. I've heard that they're pretty good. They're not as terrible as our previous ones, but audio's back on. I've had so much to do today. I'm mentally not here.
You literally checked to see you're like recording on the two cameras.
I saw these little red lights and I just assumed.
Never assume. You know what assuming does, Derek.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it does, Derek.
It gives me whiskey.
Well, let's pour it.
Oh, yeah. We need that now. I don't even know. Don't even know if that's 15 minutes. Probably not. It's probably like 3 minutes. I don't know. You screamed in my ear 14 minutes ago, so hopefully we're fine. Jesus. Oh, God, yeah.
Don't cork it when you hand it to me, because it's a pain to cork these. Because it's a glass cork. For those that don't know.
Yep. With a little rubber doohickey to stop it.
Okay. Okay. Gentle pause. You ready?
Yep. Have you ever played? What is that called?
Shuffleboard?
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in VFWs. Of course
Are you
I played.
good at it?
I mean, I'm not terrible. I also haven't played in a couple years, but it's just like horseshoes.
How would you rate yourself a 1 out of 10?
I'd say it's 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bold assumption.
Again, like last week, we talked about being athletic and non-athletic games. It's one of
Correct.
those.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what were you going to ask me? Was it really the death penalty?
No, goodness.
Oh, okay.
But
I was
anyways,
gonna say,
Jeffrey
we can go
Dahmer.
out- yeah, really. A lighter subject, please.
So, also, fun fact. I'll hit you with a fun fact that does kind of fall in line with death penalties and serial killers. So, Adam Walsh, who's the son of Mr. Walsh, I think his first name is Tom, who started America's Most Wanted. So, did you know why he started that show?
No.
Really? Okay, so his kid, spoiler alert for those that don't know about the crime that happened in like the 80s, his son is like 3-4 years old, gets abducted from, I believe it was a Sears or either way a mall down in Florida. And the police were like, it's a missing persons case. We're going to try to find your child. We don't know what's going to happen. Hours pass. Obviously, it turns into like, this is probably a murder. So we'll try to figure out like what's going on. Come to find out, they find just the head of the child in a like underpass by a thruway. And they're like, we don't know where the rest of the body is, but we have his head. And then that was like closure, because then they know like, okay, my son passed away. And then lo and behold, a couple years pass, and then America's Most Wanted becomes a TV show, mainly because the dad, who is the host of America's Most Wanted, Walsh, he was basically credited for doing most of the police work himself, because the police didn't take the case seriously enough, they say. And and that basically led to him having his own TV show, which led, years and years worth of episodes. And he actually did a ton of good work by catching a bunch of people, solving a bunch of cases, so on and so forth.
Just some random dude?
Well, he was the victim's father.
Yeah, right.
So,
but he
yeah,
wasn't
it was
a police officer or
correct.
investigator
Yep.
or trade or anything.
Yeah. So, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So, they were trying to figure out who did this. And that was basically the biggest mystery. Like, okay, we found the body. We found the child. We can lay the body to rest. However, we got to figure out who did this. So there's one person that's credited with the killing of Adam Walsh. And what's interesting is with the eyewitness accounts of seeing a man with like a bucket and he basically like dumped something, they didn't know what it was. They circumvented a bunch of different investigations into one and found out that the guy that was pouring the bucket was not necessarily the killer of Adam Walsh, but it was in fact Jeffrey Dahmer, who was not being investigated for that crime. However, when they pinned him at that location in that time period, then they asked him, and he goes, look, I'm going to die in like 3 hours. I told you who I did kill, and I would have told you if I killed him, but no, I did not kill the baby boy.
Right.
And they're like, Because everybody thought Dead to Nuts, it was him.
Sure.
It wasn't. It ended up being this other guy who has 3 names. So it's like Tom Oliver Ham or something. But
Ham. Is that a name?
Huh?
Ham?
Whatever it is, I can look it up. But
John.
basically,
Isn't he a late night host?
he's credited with the killing of Adam Walsh, but it took like years to make it happen. So
If somebody in your family died,
here we
of,
go. This is
like
it.
a murder or something like that, do you really think that knowing who it is or how it happens brings closure?
I was super close, by the way. Otis Elwood Toole. I knew
It's
there
really
was.
close to John Oliver Ham.
I said Tom Oliver Ham, and I did. I remembered the Tool part because I came up with Tom. I was close. I shot the azimuth. I told you it was 3 names. So,
Do you
anyways,
think it would have turned around if you called that name?
no doubt would have shot an emergency azimuth and walked back to a hard road. Yeah. So, okay, what was your question? If someone.
Tom Oliver. No? All right.
Yeah. Samsonite. I was way off. Again, another movie you don't know because you don't watch Jim Carrey movies.
Correct.
It's Dumb and Dumber.
He's
But
so
anyways,
obnoxious.
if somebody in my family dies, that's your question.
Was murdered, yeah.
Was murdered.
Correct. So we're going real deep.
What's the rest
So
of the
if
question?
somebody in your family was murdered, do you, like, in this case, has been, like, it was 15 years ago.
Okay.
And you still don't know who did it. You
It's a
still
cold
don't
case?
know- yeah, it's a cold case. Would knowing who it is, like 15 years later, bring any sort of closure, or are you
100%.
basically done with it at this
No,
point?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, God, yeah.
What if they're already dead?
Well, think about it. Reverse the question to yourself. If your own family member was murdered, and it was a cold case after 15 years, and all of a sudden they were able to find bones in some backyard.
Oh, no, I'm saying like they found bone. Like you have their remains and everything. You just don't know who did it.
No, I know. I'm saying with the increase in technology, they were able to run better DNA tests, and for some odd reason, they ended up coming up with more evidence. With that new evidence, they ended up pinning the actual killer. You wouldn't
and
feel
the
better.
killer's dead.
That's fine, but you still wouldn't feel better,
No.
knowing that.
No.
I would, but that's just because I'm very I don't know.
To me, it does nothing
what's the
for
word?
me.
I'm trying to think of the word of I need like every piece of the puzzle. It's like an OCD kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
And maybe because I haven't lived it, that's my answer right now.
Well,
and
yeah,
if it
neither
did
have I,
happen,
but-
obviously it would probably change. But right now, I don't see how a 15-year-old cold case, the killer's dead already. So there's nothing that I can personally do to him or to make sure that he dies in the death penalty, like we were saying, or anything like that. There's nothing that I can do on that end. I don't know if it would do anything for me. Like, I grieved. I'm upset. I got, I went through the process of grieving. I'm done with it. It's in the back of my mind. Obviously, I would still probably think about it every day, depending on who it was in my family that happened to. But from there on out, it's just like, all right, it's done and over with. I can't keep living that. So, having somebody tell me, oh, this is the person who did it. We found this. I would be like, dude, okay, cool, thanks, appreciate it.
I think it would help me with my curiosity because that would be my biggest question. Like, I just want to know who did this.
Would you be searching for the past 15 years to find out the answer or no? Like, it's a cold case. Would it be on the back of your mind? Like, I still don't know who it is. I'm so crazy right now.
I think it would be on the back burner. I don't think I would lose my mind
Yeah.
over it by constantly thinking about it. Like, I wouldn't place it on the front right burner, which is obviously the best burner on the stove. Let's
Hell
all
yeah.
agree.
That's the only burner that I use. Gina says, why do you use such a big burner for a little pot? I'm like, it's the front right, babe. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just, yeah.
That's the one. That's funny. But so what would be your reaction? If, obviously this is all hypothetical because nothing happened. But, 15 years later, somebody said, we found who killed blah, 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 blah.
Who is it?
Here
Where
it
are
is.
they? What's their current status?
And then they tell you.
Roger that.
And then that's it. Game over.
Well, yeah, basically, because then I have closure. It was answered. My curiosity has been resolved, and it puts my mind at ease.
Has there been a situation in the past couple years that is still outstanding for you? Like you don't know the answer to it?
How much time do you have? If you ask me any relevant question about anything real and I don't know the answer, then that's where I'm at because I'm dumb.
No, you know what? Not obviously on the extent of a family member being
Correct.
murdered, but something more than Mike. What is the average of 93 and 87? Not that, but in between those two.
Yeah, why are flamingos pink? I learned the answer, but I always wondered
What is it?
for years. It's due to their diet. They're born white.
Is that true?
100%. Their diet changes their pigment.
What's their diet?
They eat something that changes them pink.
Salmon? Is that why they're salmon colored?
No, goose.
Goose. Why are flamingos? This is going to be a disaster episode.
This is what happens when we record 2 days in a row.
From eating algae that contain carotenoid pigments.
See,
Flamingos
told you.
eat both algae and shrimp-like critters, and both contribute to their fabulous pinkness. That's the same for shrimp, too. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, there you go.
Learn something new every day.
Flamingos, it's due to their diet.
But that's not what I'm asking.
I know the most useless information ever, and then somebody asks me something relevant like, hey, what does rye mean? I'm like, and then I go grab my book. I'm like, I don't know right now, but I know where to find
I'm
it.
impressed that you knew that. Is that because you live in Cheektowaga and that just sparked your curiosity to figure it out?
No. And for those that don't know or that are listening outside of Buffalo, Cheektowaga is a suburb of Buffalo, and everybody in Cheektowaga is Polish, and they were known for having pink flamingos in their front lawn, and it used to signify that you paid for your house in cash. However, it became a cultural thing. Everybody
is that true?
Yeah. And then people put a pink flamingo on their lawn, and then now it's just like a well-known thing around Buffalo. But that's what it actually derived from. It was like a status symbol.
Pink flamingos are a status symbol. What does flamingos have anything to do with you being
Listen,
rich?
I don't know what to tell you, but
And if you're rich, why are you living in Cheektowaga?
times were different, my dude. Okay?
That is very true.
So, anyways, why did you asked how I knew that about flamingos?
Yeah, we were like 4 minutes off. Mike's. Yeah, how did you know that about... Sorry. It had to do the circle back, man. I had to figure out how bad my disaster was. But anyway, yes. How did you know about flamingos? You just...
I watch a ton of nature documentaries. A lot of them. I'm obsessed with them. Yeah. I think it's fascinating. And then I get super sad when I watch animals kill each other for food. And I'm like, oh, that's sad. But that's what happens. You know, it's Darwinism. That's why I'm so desensitized now, because I watched some tiger pounce on a gazelle, crush its throat, and then it's just like laying there, and then all of a sudden it gets eaten, and then the hyenas show up and steal the kill, because that's what they do. You know,
what's your favorite animal that's not like a dog?
A cheetah.
Not a typical. Oh, cheetah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I would say a jaguar, because they're fascinating and they're unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
Super agile. The things they can do are ridiculous. Same with tigers, but yeah.
Well, mine's penguin, so.
Why?
I don't know. They're cool looking animals. I feel like I just want one. Penguins and monkeys are my two favorite.
You know, monkeys are vicious, man.
I know. They're like humans. I'm telling you. That's where we came from, my friend.
I'll tell you that.
You did.
But yeah, I mean, you don't watch those things? Colleen hates when I watch those.
The animal documentaries?
Yeah, can you please watch something else? It's the same British guy. It's like, yeah, he's like 80 and he's been doing it his entire life. You're going to miss his voice.
Probably. No, I don't really watch those. When I'm logging on to Netflix, I either want to watch something that I've already watched 14,000 times or a drama show like Outlander.
Interesting.
Like, I don't go to Netflix to watch documentaries because my whole day is basically a documentary. I'm listening to a podcast all day, every day, and that's so educational for me. I can't sit down and just learn even more. It has to be mindless entertainment like The Office or Parks and Rec or Outlander now, because that's kind of my new show that I'm watching. But I won't sit down after dinner and watch something educational because I'm just drained at that point.
Yeah, you just want to decompress?
Correct.
Interesting.
Have you ever tried, speaking of decompression, have you ever tried one of those like reverse tables? You know, where your feet are strapped in and you're just hanging down?
It's a gravity chair.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. And yes, I have.
Yeah.
I used to use them all the time when I used to work at a sporting goods store.
Really?
We'll call it that. They used to sell them.
I mean, it's literally called sporting goods, so I would assume it's a sporting goods store.
I just don't want to support China. But yeah, I love those things. They work extremely well.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my goodness,
Why don't you have one now then?
Money.
Really? Are they? I don't know if they're that expensive.
Minimum, it's $180.
Oh.
So I was like,
But for your health, bro.
I know. But yeah, it's basically the whole point. For those that don't know.
Back.
Yeah. So obviously, gravity is impacting us at all points of the day. That's why you're taller when you first wake up, because you're laying horizontal.
Yeah, by like 3/4 of an inch or a half an inch or something, right?
Yeah, which is huge for your spine too, just because it allows your spine to actually stretch back out.
Yeah. Have they done it? I mean, I don't know if you know this, but while
NASA
we're still
have.
talking about, you don't even know what I'm going to say. about the research of your mattress and how it impacts your spine and your decompression? Like the firmness of your mattress, does that have any correlation?
I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. I'm sure there has been. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such a variety of mattresses. But secondly, NASA has done a study where they paid participants like $3,000 to sleep for a month and study the impacts of having gravity on your body horizontal compared to vertical. I know that.
Yeah.
So, but to finish the other train of thought, the whole point and premise is decompression on your spine. So instead of always having pressure from up top, you flip upside down, and then it stretches you back out, and it essentially allows gravity to affect your body differently. But from a preventative maintenance standpoint and lumbar health with your back, it's huge to stretch your spine out. So it's huge.
When astronauts come back, are they taller?
They're all jacked up. I know that.
Well, because of muscles.
Yeah.
Because you literally just atrophy to nothing, basically. But are they taller because they don't have that compression on their spine?
Ask an astronaut.
I don't know any, Mike.
I don't
I
either.
would. Would you ever want to go to space?
Yeah, but not because of what Jeff Bezos said.
What did he say?
He's like, I want to go to space. He's going to space. He's like paying his own way. And then there's like a raffle to the highest bidder to go with him. And there's like 4 people from India that are basically like in the running. They're putting down like a couple $1 million for their seat. But yeah, he's launching himself into space. And
Through Elon? Through Tesla?
no, he has his own.
His own rocket?
Yeah.
Bezos does?
Yeah. SpaceX and what's the other? There's NASA, SpaceX, and then I can't remember. Duro is working with them. But yeah, Bezos and Elon have their own company. I think it's SpaceX.
No, SpaceX is Elon's.
Okay. Well, look at the other one.
Jeff Bezos's space company. Why is that the first search result? Clearly nobody knows. Blue Origin?
Yeah, thank you. Blue Origin.
Jeff
They're
Bezos's
down in Florida.
Blue Origin rocket sells for $28 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's launching himself into space, and
Blue Origin auction seat on first space flight with Jeff Bezos for $28 million. That's how much the person paid. Bidder pays $28 million for a spare seat on space flight with Jeff Bezos.
see, told you, I wasn't lying.
Jesus, dude. So
He's going to space because he wants to have that outer perspective to realize how small we are. Because when you see Earth from space, it changes your entire perspective on everything. It basically, you come back woke. So he's like, well, there's only one planet, so I seen it. Okay, I seen it, so save all the trees.
is
And
this
then-
his way to like get himself back on everybody's good side? Because right now
Probably.
he's like one of the most hated men in the world.
Well,
Because Amazon pays their employees garbage.
dude, I know a guy who worked for Amazon and made 6 figures.
Well, there's people at McDonald's who make 6 figures.
Well, I don't know those people.
Well, yeah.
I know a
don't
guy
know
who makes
anybody
6
that
figures
makes
in Amazon. So there you go.
Locally?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I deployed with him.
Oh, okay.
Uh huh.
Nice.
I was like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I run the warehouse for Amazon." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, I like coordinate all their pickups and stuff
yeah,
at the warehouse."
That's different. If he's the coordinating guy at the warehouse, is different than the UPS truck. Not UPS.
So like every other company
Correct.
in existence in
Correct.
capitalism that has an org chart.
Absolutely. But when you're talking about people,
So what are we mad about? People are mad because not everybody makes $100,000.
Correct. That's what was the whole joke. Is because people are
That's
mad.
not a joke. That's sad. People need to wake up to the real world.
Well, that's what people are mad is that they say like, oh, Walmart pays their employees garbage, which for cashiers maybe, but that's not supposed to be your livable job that you're supposed to grow up doing.
Well, right.
Is being a cashier.
But we can't say that. That's wrong, Derek.
Correct, Michael.
I need more booze.
Yeah, what are we fighting about?
I know. But anyways, yeah. That's why he wants to go to space. So yes, I would go to space.
How much would you pay to go to space?
$0. You would pay me to go to
You can't even
space.
get on a regular flight.
No,
for
they would
$0.
pay me.
Really?
Yeah, I would be an astronaut and go through the training, and if I can survive the G's, then yeah. But that testing's ridiculous. It weeds like 98.64% of all humans out.
Isn't that like harder than the SEALs?
God, yes. Yeah, the attrition rate for the SEALs nowadays is low 90s, high 80s. I mean, you just don't quit. You just put up with it. And then,
Yeah.
if you're medically hurt, then you try out again.
Why is the astronaut so hard?
Because it literally goes after like your overall body composition. Like if you can't do the necessary things, same with fighter pilots. You have to be like a certain height. You have to be a certain fitness level. You have to be able to withstand a certain amount of G's. You have to be smart enough to actually do your job when you're up there. It's a whole separate league of human being. There's one guy, Kim. You know Kim. He was on. He was a former SEAL. He is a doctor from Harvard, and he's an astronaut.
Oh, yeah.
The Asian guy,
Mm-hmm.
he's a savage.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so he was like, yeah, it's awful. Like, becoming an astronaut is one of the hardest things in, like, the history of the world.
Why did we all want to do it when we were younger?
Because it's space. Everybody wants to go to space. Everybody wants to go bounce around on the moon.
But you don't, though. You just said.
I said I would go to space.
For $0.
Well, yeah,
so-
that's what I'm saying. I'd be like Kim. Kim didn't pay his way to be an astronaut. He tried out and he made it.
Well, I'm not saying being an astronaut, but just go, like, voluntarily go to space, like Bezos is doing.
I don't have
like,
that money.
If
If I did have that money, I wouldn't spend it on going to space.
so you don't want to go to space.
But no, that doesn't mean that I don't want to go to space. It just means I'm not willing to invest it. If it was a free ride, yeah, I go to space. You know, that's a huge thing, man.
Yeah.
Going to space. You know, a lot of things can go wrong. What happens if you're just floating up there for, what if something breaks and you can't come home?
So
Are you gonna jump out?
One of the theories, like, those how high are you posts where people will talk about just like strange,
Yeah.
not conspiracy theories, but evolution of events, and then people are like, how high are you to think of this?
Correct.
There's this one that said, what if we lived on Mars first, and that's why there's water there, and then somebody developed a rocket to fly us from Mars to Earth, and that rocket ended up crashing into Earth, which killed all the dinosaurs, which started the whole Earth. And everyone's like, how high are you to think of this?
If the rocket was big enough to decimate an entire species on Earth, you wouldn't have survived that crash yourself.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So then obviously there's
That's the other part, is they said, and the people on that rocket were Adam and Eve, and that's why they came here.
Yeah.
So they're combining all these different things.
that literally makes no sense. You would have died. You would have died in the crash.
Well, obviously.
I
but
know
it's
that,
just fun.
Jared. Oh my God, they're Adam and Eve. Oh my God. Then they just found an apple.
Yeah,
Stop.
Yeah. And then the snake started talking to them, and that was actually their delusion from crashing into Earth so hard. But yeah. So do you believe in Adam and Eve? I'm just kidding. Let's not get into that.
All right, what are we drinking? I might need a little more for the rating section because I'm getting all fired up. This is so good too.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
It's one of your favorites by them.
Hell yeah. So
St. Lawrence Spirits. I'll kick it off and then you can dive into what we're actually drinking. But St. Lawrence Spirits, they're upstate New York. They're right next to Fort Drum. For those that are familiar with that area,
Clayton and Thousand Island area.
there you go. So St. Lawrence Spirits, they're obviously on St. Lawrence River. Go figure. Their logo's sick. We'll talk about it. But we had them on. We featured a couple of their products thus far, and we went there, stayed the weekend. It was amazing. Stayed at the Chateau, had a ton of good food, tried their entire product line. Things were fine. We hydrated, kind of. And, came home with bottles that we purchased because we needed it for our shelves. And I still have some icebreaker.
Do you?
Yeah. So, may or may not be bringing that to Maine.
Nice.
We'll see. So anyways, depends on what you bring. We have to coordinate that.
Sure.
So if you want to check out their interview and hear from the owner, Jody himself, then feel free, watch that interview. It was a good time. It was the morning after trying their products all day. So if we're groggy in the beginning, we filmed at 8 a.m. after hanging out with them all night. That's why everything's fine.
Did you hear that we were groggy? I didn't get that feedback.
We were exhausted.
Well, I'm exhausted right now, bro.
Yeah, but I'm kind of waking you up.
Debatable.
I will chest bump you right now on camera. If you want to see that, let us know in the comments.
New TikTok.
So what? Chill. So what are we drinking right now?
So this is called their Rye Knot. So also too, St. Lawrence Spirits has been named Distillery of the Year for 2 straight years in 2019 and in 2020. So they know what they're doing, which is also very impressive since they're very new still. They started their distillery 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that.
5, I believe.
But their products just made such an impact on the New York spirits industry that they won Distiller of the Year back-to-back, which is such a great accomplishment for them. But one thing that I really like about this product This is specifically called their Rye Knot, and it is obviously, as you probably know, a rye whiskey. But what's cool about this specific rye whiskey is most rye whiskeys on the shelf are a percentage of rye and a percentage of some other either flavoring grain or corn or malted barley or wheat or whatever it may be. They include a composition that is outside of their rye whiskey. When you're talking about rye in general, in order for something to be considered a rye whiskey, it has to be at least 51% rye grain. Some other distilleries, including Hartman's, including other companies, have a rye whiskey, and it's a very high rye whiskey, which is a 95% rye and a 5% either corn or malted barley. What St. Lawrence is doing is they're one of the only distilleries. There are a couple more, and I don't want to speak in absolutes because I'm not 100% sure, but I know that there's very few distilleries out there that make a rye whiskey using 100% rye grains. So it's a 95% rye grain, and then the other 5% is rye malt. So it's not malted barley, it's rye malt. This is one of the only distilleries that makes the rye whiskey with 100% rye grain. So when you're really tasting this, which we'll get into the tasting section, it gives you a different flavor that you're not used to because there's no corn in here. It's very, very different. It's very exciting. I love this product. It's one of my favorites from them. And yeah, so this is 90 proof and 45% ABV. And
$45 as well, correct?
42, I believe.
42.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really it. This is really good.
Let's rate
I
this
love
thing.
This stuff. Let's do it. Rye, you ask? Well, I'll read that during the label branding section. Label branding, what are you getting?
They don't have a wood cork, but they do have a glass cork. We rated their others over an A, and this is with them. I mean, it's still got the sparkle banner all the way across. Their logo is very prominent. Their marketing person knows what they're doing, and they did a really good job on all of their product lines, specifically the Admiral line. However, I'm going to go A. I do like it a lot, and I kind of like the fact that they incorporated some brown for the rye. Yep. Typically, you see a lot of green for rye products across the board on the shelves, but I like that mainly because of what you're getting in the tasting profile. I just feel like it matches the bottle.
Yeah, and it matches the color of the actual whiskey too, because rye generally is a little bit darker than corn whiskey. So I like that. The only gripe that I have with this, and we talked about this last time, is they should be doing the perforated label on there. That way, when you do break it, it breaks off cleanly, kind of like a salad dressing wrapper. Because right now, in order to take this off, you have to peel the entire sticker off, which leaves some glue residue on the bottle. So that would honestly be my only complaint, which is why this is getting an A. So I agree. All right, nose. What do you get on the nose?
Butter. Melted butter. Little bit of, when you roll up and put away after you used it, the brown sugar, that's what I'm getting. Like that scent of like the final remnants of closing the bag. It's not like when you first open the bag and it punches you in the face, but the remnants of it. Yeah. That's what I'm getting.
I'm also getting a little spice on the nose.
Yeah, a little bit of pepper.
Which kind of goes with the 100% rye.
Yeah.
Because with a normal, I feel, and this could just be my experience, but with normal whiskey, when you have that corn in there, corn for me normally predominates, or is predominantly the nose for me. You get a lot of that sweetness from the corn in the whiskey. With this being 100% rye, I'm getting a lot of like butterscotch and like pepper on the nose. So that rye is really dominating it.
Butterscotch makes sense. I can see where you're going with that. But yeah, I mean, it's a dynamic nose for us to come up with 5 to 6 different options.
Mm-hmm. I'd give this a solid A.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is very well done. Okay. So, taste.
Butter. Faintest bit of caramel. Little bit of heat brings in some, like the malted rye aspect of it, but there's really no pepper up front.
I'm getting the back end of the nose, which is really interesting. So like when you put this up to your nose and you kind of inhale to get like to prepare for the sip.
When you inhale.
Yeah, it's toffee for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Like just that part right there, the inhale of the fumes gives me a toffee. So for me, it's toffee and cracked pepper.
Okay.
The initial taste.
I'm getting butter and caramel. Initial taste, I'm still going at A+.
Okay, A+. I agree.
It's gentle and it's soft. I like this a lot. The rye cannot is a really good one.
The rye cannot.
Yeah.
Cannot what?
What?
Who?
That's how you pronounce not, bro.
Oh, I thought
Everybody
you were
else
saying,
pronounces
like,
it wrong.
Cannot, like
No.
Cannot.
No, that key not, you know?
Oh, yeah. All right, any note. You can clearly tell that we've been recording for 2 days in a row.
Oh my god. Roll them harder. I hope they get stuck next time you roll your eyes. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, they're stuck. They're stuck.
Good, I'll hit you in the back of the head and stick them. That's what my dad used to say. And you
We'll
know,
talk about that after.
and you know what? I'm definitely getting a little bit of the pepper, but butter's consistent through the entire experience of drinking this. The nose, the initial taste, the only note. You get the melted butter, and it's very gentle and smooth. And I don't understand how it's so friggin' smooth because a lot of ryes have that bite and that kick and that like to them. This is just like, just chilling, man. I'm just gonna travel right down your throat, nestle right into your belly, and then you'll just want to keep drinking me.
Yeah.
And then don't stand up, by the way, because I'm 90 proof and you're gonna fall over. You know, like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very consistent whiskey from nose to ending note.
Uh-huh.
It has that same flavor profile. Whatever you're getting is what you'll get throughout the whole thing. I like it. Ending note, so A.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Final rating. Give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1.
94. 92.5.
There you go. You're getting better at this game.
Well, it's been 2 years, so you would hope.
It's also been 28 years.
29. Coming
Not
up.
yet, yeah.
Coming up. Coming up. 29?
Yesterday, Gina's like,
So
how old
excited.
are you? I'm like, 28. And she looks at me, and I, like, close my eyes, and I'm like, I'm 29 now. I forget my age now. Was there a point where birthdays don't matter to you anymore?
27.
Really?
I would
because
say,
that's your...
No.
28's your number. So
yeah,
really?
but I would say 26. I would forget what age I was. I would mix it up. I would still say I'm 25. I would say I'm a year older. I was a mess. And then when I was reminded that I was turning 27, I'm like, next year is the year. Like, it's my number. And then I was fine. And I was like, turning 28. And then I was like, I'm 28. I'm 28. And then recently, because now it's June, my birthday's in July, somebody asked me,
Molino,
yeah,
Jared.
Yeah, Jared asked. And I was like, well, I'm 29. And then you're like, not yet, dumbass. And then I was just like,
Because I had to stop it. I'm like, is Mike older than me? I didn't think Mike was older than me.
Nope. Just having a micism.
You're like 2 years or 2 months younger.
Yeah, we're both 28. So we can help
I'm
remind
29,
each other.
man.
Well, Inkto facto. 28.
I watched that movie the other day and I started dying laughing. Into facto, I'm your boss. So when you said that smack you up on the back of your head and then your eyes will stay that way,
No, unstick.
in what context was that ever told to you?
I would make that joke to my dad, where my sister would roll her eyes at whatever I would say. She doesn't listen, so it doesn't matter. And I would make the joke, and I'd be like, "Oh, roll them harder." And I do that now to Colleen, my wife, for those that are new. And then she does, because she gets annoyed when I say it. And when my dad first heard that, my dad goes, "Yeah, and then I'll hit you in the back of the head to unstick them." And then we all just kind of like laughed. And then me being me, I actually logically thought that through, like, would that work? But that's just because I'm an idiot. But that's fine. But yeah.
I would do this thing when I was younger where I would pull my eyes back, close them really hard, and then lift up, and it would flip my eyelids. I don't know why I used to do it.
Why?
I don't know. I literally just I don't know why I used to do it.
I know that, Derek.
But they would do that. I would do that all the time, like in school or something. I would flip my eyelids up, and then my eyelids would like you can see the inside of my eyelid, and they would just be like propped up. Like, if you fold your dog's ear back
There's
and it
something
just stays
seriously
there.
wrong with you.
I'm aware, Mike, but I would do that, and then my parents would always say, I'm going to hit you on the back of the head, and they'll stay that way. So I had the reverse. It would stay that way if they hit me, and it would reverse if they hit you.
Did you ever push your face into your pillow so hard that it, like, pushed your eyes in when your eyes were closed, and then you would see, like, weird colors and stuff?
Yeah.
I would do that on purpose and then travel through that realm thinking I was, like, in the cosmos.
So you did want to go to space.
I was basically killing myself, but that's fine.
I do that now, like, where I'll look at the mirror and I'll, like, get an itch, and I'll go like this, and I'll see my eye move, like, because I'm pushing on it, because I have an itch. And I'm like, this is so weird. Why do our eyes move so freely? And how do they stay in there?
I was always... Here's one cold case question that's never been answered. Who the hell named it a spoon?
What?
Who comes up with that? Like, how did words become a thing?
Yeah.
Like a knife, a fork, a spoon.
Orange. Anything.
Yeah.
Any word.
And then when you spell it too many times in a row, it always looks wrong. Why?
I just had something today that I spelled it out, and I'm like, that's wrong. But it ended up being right. The more you look at a word, the worse it gets.
For me, it was furniture.
How do you spell it now?
Well, I spelled it correctly, but I looked at it and I'm like, is that right? And then I had to like type it in on my phone to make sure that I spelled it right. And I was like, that's a weird word.
Mine's maintenance and lightning, because
Maintenance is a pain.
They have those ENs in there. That's like, what are you doing?
Restaurant's a pain too, because you got to add the A, and you're just like,
I never know
why?
if the AU comes before or after the rant. Is it restaurant or restaurant? Never knew. But that I before E except after C never resonated with me, because there's too many deviations to the rule.
Well, yeah, because they're like, oh no, this is a one-off. I'm like, well, how many one-offs are there?
This is the 14 off.
Because next door I was taught that 1 + 1 = 2, and now you're telling me everything's a one-off? Like, is this just... This doesn't make any sense. And you wonder why English is the hardest language to learn. Because, there's a difference, Derek. Let me tell you something. There's a difference between English and American. I'll tell you that.
There is.
The slangs and the dialects, it's nuts. Half of the stuff we say don't make any sense anywhere else in the world except here.
Have you ever been to England? Or Britain?
Ew. No.
You wouldn't go to England or Great Britain or anywhere?
Probably not. They have, like, weird teeth and they drink too much tea.
What would they say about us?
I worked with them. They're great. They're nice. They're very smart. But I just don't want to go there. It's old and dirty. And they lost the war, so why would I care? Try again. You lose.
Well, that's coming up. So, again, to circle back to our first conversation, what are you doing for the 4th of July?
We have plans. I can't remember.
Oh, you just can't remember? I thought that you just didn't feel like talking about them.
No. I literally can't. Again, I'm focused on Thursday.
Are you a person to go to buy fireworks, or do you go look at fireworks, or do you just not care about fireworks?
I don't care about fireworks.
They're doing a firework display at Niagara Falls to commemorate the reopening of the state, because we reached 70%.
Well, so what does that mean?
The state's reopened. No more restrictions. No more state restrictions based off of COVID. That's what that means. Businesses can still restrict you, because businesses aren't governed by the state when it comes to that stuff.
And then they'll realize how much money they're losing?
Correct, yes. But there's no more... You have to sit in this spot in the Bills Stadium. You have to, because we're the state telling you that, because you're not vaccinated. Like, none of that matters anymore. I think. I don't know.
Well, that's why I asked you.
Yeah. Why do you think I know the answer?
I think it's a conspiracy theory.
What?
I think
What
the
is?
only reason that the magic number was 70 and that we were allowed to reopen is because next month his daughter's getting married.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We got told that we've been looking at wedding venues, and they're like...
Yeah, they're all... Yeah, because you know why? Because all the venues have the same lawyers, and they were the ones suing the state for the last year trying to reopen and at least change their guidance. And then they found out that the governor's daughter was getting married because the governor's aides were calling the venues asking what the restrictions were, and they were calling in lieu of the daughter's wedding. Hello? You don't think the venues downstate are going to tell the venues upstate that are suing downstate for the restrictions what's going on? Wake up. Don't even get me started. I get so mad. And there's going to be somebody that drops a comment. Let me tell you something. I know this because we're involved. The wife's a wedding planner.
The this isn't about political parties either. This isn't Democrat versus Republican. It's just he's an idiot.
Correct.
Like, that's all it comes down. Like,
He's a bad governor.
If it was anybody else in there, like if last election, governor election, Mark Molinaro won and he was doing the same stuff that Cuomo was doing, I would hate him too.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what political party he is. He's just an idiot and a moron.
But we know that the other party wouldn't do that.
Correct.
So that's where we're at.
So now you're getting political. So I was trying to keep us out of that lane, Michael.
Nope.
We're going to war. I watched his press conference today about him announcing it. And all the
when he talks super slow?
Yeah, and all the people in there were, yay! Like, stop clapping.
I couldn't even. I can't.
Literally the worst.
As soon as he started talking about HVAC components, I turned him off. I'm like, you're unbelievably uneducated. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. They're all pawns. They're all pawns. So
would you ever get into local politics? Like
No.
towns or anything? No?
No.
Why not?
Nope.
Thanks, everybody.
I can't.
Why?
Because there's somebody somewhere that's going to say something, and
Are you more concerned with people making up lies about you, or are you more concerned with the stress that comes with the job, or are you more concerned with the implications it might have on your family? Because there's a lot of reasons not to go into politics right now.
I'm not the person that should be involved in politics.
Why? You're an educated man
Uh-huh.
who knows things.
When did we meet?
2012.
No.
11.
Way off.
No.
Kind of. 2010.
No. 2011.
Well, we
I didn't
graduated
go-
June 2010. We
I didn't
graduated.
go to or the unnamed school.
Yeah, bleep that out. Bleep that out.
I didn't go to there until 2011.
Really?
Yeah. Because I only went one semester there for like 3 classes because I didn't feel like driving up to the North Campus that day.
And I went immediately after high school,
Correct.
which was still 2010.
But you were there for the 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. So we met in 2011.
Huh.
Yeah. So, dude, it's our 10-year anniversary. Ah.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna
But
cry
anyway,
now.
so what happened with? Why'd you ask when I met you?
Because there's some thing you know me 2011 on.
Right.
So there's some things. People grow. People change. Pre 2011, I was a different human being.
but also,
There's people that from high school that have been friends with me on Facebook, whatever, and they're like, I never would have thought that you would be doing what you're doing now, and I never would have thought you would have like the wisdom, the maturity, like the overall perspective that you have.
so you're more concerned with your past when becoming in politics?
Yeah, bro.
Really?
Oh my god.
So that brings up.
I'm
an
obviously
interesting-
not worried about the future. I can control that, but the past?
We might
start-
have to end this business partnership, bro. if
Oh,
you're that
stop.
concerned.
Oh, stop.
But shouldn't we not be judging our political people based off of what they did in high school?
Well, correct, but dude, we've only been out of high school 10 years. What happened?
What?
The camera cut out.
Internal temp too high. Hello? All right, well, see you guys later.
How long has it been?
I don't know, dude, an hour?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
52 minutes?
We'll just cut it off.
What the hell happened?
I don't know. Apparently it's warm. How hot is she? Apparently too hot.
I wouldn't say it's too hot. That's weird. Hello?
Did we fry it?
I fucking hope not.
I know.
No, that's why it turned off, is so it doesn't fry.
Now I'm upside down. There I am. Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties. Everything's fine. I told you we put too much insulation in the room.
Well, welcome back, dude. I don't know why I just stopped like that. That was weird.
I don't know. I mean, I'm warm, but I wouldn't say I'm warm enough to shut the thing off.
Open this bad boy up and start getting
No,
some
it's
air to
fine.
here.
It's fine.
Anyway, so thank you all for joining us. I don't know what happened. Maybe we got to get new cameras now.
It's a sign that we should basically not talk about me running for politics.
That's probably true. Because it only shut off your camera. Mine's still rolling.
Probably because it knows what's happened. Everything's fine. Now it's going to be like, what did Mike do in the past?
Crazy. I know, really. I'm kind of interested myself.
Oh, stop. Just keep pouring.
We'll have discussions later.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Buffalo Happy Hour. I don't know what keeps you guys coming back, but for some reason you keep doing it. So I appreciate that. Mike's taking off his headphones. He's done with this conversation.
I'm a little warm.
Are you? You sweating a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm toasty.
You got the fan right behind you.
I know, it's fine.
Couldn't think of that word. It's another one of those mental lapses. But thank you, everybody, for joining. This has been episode 92 of the Buffalo Happy Hour. We're getting real close to that 100.
It's the year we were born.
Real close to that 100, bro.
I know.
So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We release episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Interviews are released every Friday as well. Follow us on Instagram at the Buffalo Happy Hour 12, on Facebook at the Buffalo Happy Hour, and on TikTok at the Buffalo Happy Hour, because we are also on that as well. Stay tuned for some awesome content coming at you soon with the 3-Chord team, and also some bottles being released with 3-Chord coming out in the near future as well. So if you want to order that, go on our Instagram or our Facebook, look for that post and click on that to start ordering yours now, because as soon as they're gone, they're out, and we won't be doing another one, or there won't be any more of those until we do another single barrel. So get your order in now. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Appreciate it. Please remember to drink responsibly, be a good person, and Michael,
Do not litter.
we're out.